Hi there, this is Art and Such with a Rainbow Loom tutorial for how to make the flash. I am using all bands, although you're welcome to use beads if you have something fitting for the eyes and the chest. For this pattern you'll need some skin tone bands, white bands, red bands, and yellow or gold. We'll do most of this on the loom, a little bit on the hook, and a couple of pieces will be added when we're done. So we're going to begin with the arms and the legs. We're doing them on the loom, and you need your loom in the offset position. So the middle row is raised above the two sides. For the top of the arms, we're going to give them some biceps. So we want some width, some breadth, and for that we start with 2 bands from the top center peg to the second peg on the center. And we'll come down the left side with 3 sets of doubles. So 3 sets of double bands, 2 bands each. Now we switch to yellow because he's got a bit of a lightning armband, and we bring 2 yellows down from the 4th peg to the 5th peg on the side, and follow that with 2 more sets of double reds. And lastly, we need to cap this off, so take a single red, go to that 7th peg down on your left. You're going to twist it, bring it back around, twist it, bring it back around. We want to do about 3 or 4 loops so it's kind of tight. And then the next thing we have to do is find this band and bring it up through the cap band. So reach your hook down and under and pull it upwards. And we're going to loop up until we reach the 3rd peg from the top. So just after the yellow, we go one more time. From here, we're going to reach in, take this band, and bring it to the second peg on the center. And then we can finish looping up one side and our center row. Take your hook, put it through the bands on the top center and through the bands on the top left and pull it off. And we can actually pull this onto double red bands. So take 2 bands, give them a little stretch, and put them at the end of your hook with a little tension, and bring these on top, and it will be easier to attach. We've got a bit of a bicep now. Let's make our second arm. Same thing. If you're ahead of me here, you can fast forward a little bit. If not, stick with me. We'll speed on through. We're going to put a set of double bands in the center, same as before, and 3 sets of double red down the side, 2 yellow bands below that, and another 2 sets of red bands double. Most of this project is going to be double actually, or incidentally, but just do pay attention because when we get to the legs we're going to make them a little thicker. Capping band wrapped about 3 times. You can make it tighter if you like, or leave it loose. And we're reaching underneath again, getting the bottom bands, looping upwards. Go one past the yellow, and this one on the 3rd peg is coming up to the 2nd peg in the center, and then we're going to keep looping up either side. Take this off of the loom and put it onto double red bands. This can stay on your hook or go on a holding hook, or on the side. We'll use it soon enough. Let's make our legs. I'm using a technique here for the boots from Isalicious Designs. We're going to start with 2 yellow bands and wrap them twice around the hook. Now we take 2 more yellow bands and we pull our wrapped band on top and put the other end over the hook. We're going to do this again, and then we'll put the pieces together to make our boot. 2 bands wrapped twice, pulled onto 2 more bands. Now this next part is a little bit tricky because I'm using a jelly yellow. It's a little bit more slippery. So be careful here. You're going to take leave one end off. We're not replacing this. We're taking these closer pieces off of the first set and bringing them over. And then you're going to put your finger in here and switch it around so that this piece goes on the hook. So I'm putting my finger through, taking it off the hook, and bringing my hook around and under the other side. And then this remaining piece will come over the end. And you can replace this on your hook now. We're going to put this onto 3 sets of double yellow, so he has kind of a long boot. 2 yellows under the hook, pull your boot over. 2 yellows at the end of your hook, pull your boot over, and one more time. Now we're going to switch to red. If you want your legs to be thinner or you wish to conserve your bands, you can use double bands, or use double bands and switch to 3 bands higher up. I tried to make my legs just a little bit thick, so for that I'm using sets of 3 red. We're going to use 3 sets of triple red. Put 3 bands on the end, pull it through your yellow bands, put the other end back. 3 bands, put it on the end, pull your reds over now, put your other end back, and one more time. And then we are going to use 2 sets of 4 bands each. So 4 bands, put it on the end, pull your others on top. And if this is looking difficult, you can always move them a band or 2 at a time and go a little more slowly until you're more comfortable with the strategy. Okay, one more set of 4. We're going to pull it through and just leave it on your hook for the moment. You can see my leg is kind of gone straight, but you can give it a little tug and an adjustment and it should curve out a little. I'm going to make another one of these. I won't talk you through it quite as much. We'll go a little bit faster. So for our boot, 2 bands wrapped twice, pulled onto 2 more bands. These are yellow again. Once more, 2 bands wrapped twice, pulled onto 2 yellow. Leave one end off, bring your close end over, switch it around with your finger. I told you they're slippery. Other end on top, and bring this back. 3 sets of double yellow. And 3 sets of triple red. And lastly, we need 2 sets of 4 bands each. Now what we're going to do with our legs is grab double red bands. You can try and get your legs facing opposite directions now, or might do as well to wait till we've got it all settled. But we're going to take double bands and bring our legs on top, and this will make it easier to attach it so that we don't have to deal with 8 separate bands when we go to put it on. I don't usually do this, but I'm just going to put this on the bottom of my loom for the time being, so it's a little out of the way. You can leave it on your hook, and you can put it on a holding hook, whatever you are comfortable with. We're going to start on our head, and for this we have 2 red bands coming from the top center to the top right, and 2 red bands top center to the top left. 3 sets of red bands, double red bands down either side. And this is for his mask. It goes pretty well right to the chin, just about, like little red sideburns. So we're gonna have this go down really far. And 2 sets of red in the center. So from the first peg center to the second peg in the center, and from the second to the third. And then you'll need your skin tone. I would suggest a pink or a paler shade. Come down from the third to the fourth in the center, and from the fourth to the fifth with double bands. And we're gonna come from, just triple check that I got this right for you. We're gonna come from the fourth center to the fifth center, fourth left to the fifth center, and from the fourth right to the fifth center. And we can switch to our neck bands. I used 3 to make it a little sturdier, make it look a little thicker. That's from your 5th center to your 6th center. We're using double bands for all of the body, coming down once diagonally from the 6th center to the 6th on the side, and down to the other side as well. And we come down 5 times on either side. And then we'll fill in the middle in just a minute here. Okay, let's come down. Hang on. Just make sure this is right for you. I'm gonna consult my notes. And so while I'm doing this, we can start filling in the center row as well. Okay, I know how we did this. This will be cool. Okay, let's come down 2, 3, 4 times. We're going to come down until we're at this peg just below. So it'll be the second peg from the bottom in the center is where we want to reach with our metal bands. And what we're going to do is take our legs, and this is going to actually go from this 3rd peg from the bottom on the left side to the 3rd peg from the bottom on the right. We're going to separate our legs and bring the middle band over that 2nd peg down in the center. So we're bringing the band that the legs are on, half of it's going to come underneath here. And we don't need a capping band for that. That should be good. We will need some holding bands in a second, but let's add our arms first. These go on your 6th peg down on either side, right where we move those bands down diagonally for the shoulders. I'm just taking all of the bands that are on the hook here, there should be 4, and stretching them over and onto that peg. Our securing bands for the body, our holding bands here are just going to be single band triangles. You can use double bands for the bottommost one if you like. And all we're doing is stretching the bands across peg to peg and pulling it up over the center. We do this a total of 5 times through the body. As I said, I am using double at the bottom just to make it a little stiffer there. On our face, we are going to use a single skin tone band doubled over. This comes from the 4th peg to the 4th peg and is raised above the 4th. We're going to double over some red bands. We need 2 doubled over red bands. find an unbroken one here. Stretch it out, turn it over, bring it onto itself, stretch it from your third to your third and over your center third. You can always bring it across and pull it up and over if that's easier for you. And we need one more from our second to our second. Okay, we can make the eyes next, and then we'll make the centerpiece here. For the eyes, if you're using beads, you can thread them onto a red band and attach it from the second to the second. If you're using bands, take a single, wrap it 4 times, another single, I'm using white here, 4 times, tighter if you like, pull it onto a red, and try and keep a little space in between if you can. We are going to bring this from our second peg to our second peg, and then we'll be separating the bands between the eyes and pulling one of these, or both if you like, right under the third peg on the center. Okay, like so. For the chest area, for the white centerpiece, if you have a large white bead, you're welcome to use that. If you're using bands, we're going to do a circle chain or a chain and make it into a circle using doubled over bands. So taking a white band, we'll wrap it twice onto our hook. You can do it a little tighter if you like. And then we're going to take 5 doubled over bands, so twist it onto itself, put it at the end of your hook and pull it over. We're going to repeat that 4 times. Two, 3, and 4. This will give us a total of 5. If you want it to be thicker or wider, you can add more. You don't want it to be too loose though, or you'll have a gap in the middle. Now you want to find the top bands here where you started, and you're going to stretch them out and put your hook through. Try and get through at least 2 of them, more if you can. We want this to be very nice and tight, so we're going to take another white band, double it over, and pull it through all of the bands on your hook. Put the ends together, and this will go onto a single red band. Our red band is going to stretch from the second peg, the top peg of the body where the arm is, to the top peg, and we're just going to pull it underneath here. And then what I would recommend is that you grab, just so this doesn't sort of flop out, grab a piece at the bottom, pull your hook through, and bring a red band through it so it'll blend with the body. And this can sit right on that third body peg underneath. Just kind of get this in place. It's going to be a little bit loose, but it should be okay. And we are ready to loop up. We're going to go to the bottom and go under the top bands, which were our leg pieces. Get the bottom 2 bands and bring them up and over to the peg above. And we can loop straight up the center until the point of the neck. We'll stop right at the neck, which is your 6th peg down in the center. When you get to this piece, make sure you push back the red pieces holding that white center in. Loop up, push back, get your bottom 2, loop up. We'll pop this out a little better when we're done. And you can pick a side, come underneath, get your bottom 2 and loop them upwards. Push back your triangle bands and loop up to the arms. Once you're here, you need to look for these bands coming down diagonally. I'm going to pull the arm out a little bit, put my hook in, push everything back, get the bottom 2 and loop them in. And repeat this all for the other side. Bottom 2 under the legs. And keep looping up, pushing back your triangle bands. At the arm again, we're going to go for the diagonal bands. And you can stretch them out if they're kind of getting tangled in there, or if they're hard to see. We are dealing with more bands on this particular peg here. For the neck, we have 3 bands to look for. Again, you might wish to pull them out to the side to get a better handle on them. And you're coming through from the inside and pulling them up and over. From here, we need to track all the bands back to where they came from. So we're going to start, kind of do the reverse order from how we laid them on. We're going to look for these top pink bands. And bring them back over. The next 2 bands are coming to the other side. And the last ones are up. You can loop in any order from here. When you have the eyepiece, make sure you pull back the red that's holding the eyes in place. Come down to the side, go under your skin tone bands and get your bottom 2 red. Loom them up and keep looming up while avoiding your triangle bands. And bring your last 2 to the center. And we're going to loom from this other side as well. And one more time from here, your top peg to the center peg. Take a red band and bring it up through all of the bands in your top peg. To do this, you want to push your hook, or have the back of your hook facing you when you come down. Turn it so that the inside is facing you. Put your band on with a little tension and turn it away from you again as you pull it up. Bring one end over the other and you'll have a slip knot. Then you can carefully remove this from your loom and we'll add our finishing touches. So you'll want to pop your centerpiece through and kind of even it out a little bit. You have a securing band at the top here, which can be hidden in the back with the use of a C-clip. I'm pulling it under some other bands here just to get it out of the way. And you know I like to stick my C-clip in a second time to keep it steady. In the middle piece here, which you'll want to press in just a little bit, we are going to add a yellow lightning bolt. This is optional, of course. And it's a little bit tricky, but what I did is I came under a band or 2 in the top and pulled my yellow piece through. And I grabbed, so I'm holding on to this piece so it doesn't get loose. And then I'm going to pull the yellow through a piece on the bottom. You can secure one end with a C-clip as you do this if you're worried about it getting loose, or through another band, or even put it on another hook. Now I'm going to hold on to one end and it will try and slip out, so hold on tight there. This is where all the fiddling and trickiness comes in, I'm afraid. Okay. And we're going to get our other end and pull it through to the back. So take your hook, bring it through, grab your yellow piece. Still trying to keep a hold on this side, and pull your yellow to the back. And then you'll need to reach through from the back to the front, just underneath the white, and this is also going to help make it a little bit tighter too. Get your yellow piece So this is where we are now. And pull it to the back again. You'll have 2 yellow pieces on, and you can bring one over the other and put this on a C-clip as well. And this makes it a little bit tighter. It gives you your yellow lightning stripe. It looks a little nicer, I think. I'm just slipping this on a C-clip here. Okay, and for the belt, you have 3 options here. You can take 1 or 2 bands and stretch them out, pull them around the waist area, and twist them into place. So it's just a loose band. Are you kidding me? Look at that, my C-clip came right out. Oh dear. Try and secure it better this time. So you can take your yellow for the belt and just wrap it around and have a wrap-on belt. Your second option, which I'm not going to do with you because it is very, very tricky and you have limited space to work in, you can manually weave your yellow bands in, down, and then up and down and up and down, which looks a little bit messy and is very complicated. What I'm going to do here is we're just going to take a band and bring it to the middle. So we're reaching in from the back through the very middle. We're going to take a yellow band and pull it through, just one end through. And we're going to catch the other end of it just up on the side here. Bring your hook through the red, through the yellow, bring it back. And this can go on a C-clip as well. I'm actually going to put it on another yellow band just to have something a little longer here to hold it by. And for our other piece, we're going to go through the back in the same spot. Take another yellow and bring it through again. And bring it through at the edge of the other side. Try and keep it as even as you can. And these can all go onto the same one long yellow band that I've added on top. You can weave this up to where your C-clip is already. You can tie it in a slip knot, or you can add just another C-clip here, which is what I'm going to do. And we are almost done. Give everything a little stretch, pull your eyes up to where you want them. You can tug your arms down. If you have any loose bands, this is a good time to hide them or weave them in. And now you'll want to tug your boots into the right so that they're facing the right direction. And now you have the flash. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll check out some of my other videos.